That's not reality. He's fooling himself. He's deluding himself. And he refuses to acknowledge reality. And he refuses to go through the things. You see that what happened, then he got angry to Yaakov. And he held on to that anger forever. And so this is what unprocessed resentment, unacknowledged resentment can do. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Live with the Times. Today we're doing episode 6 of Toldos, meaning Aliyah 6 of Toldos. And once again, here we have our guest, Tiferet, Esther Miriam Tiferet, which is very apropos for this, for Yaakov in general, right? Tiferet. He is the Sephir of Tiferet, and also he is MS. And Esther Miriam Tiferet is her name, full name, which acronym is Aleph Mem Tet, right? So, Emet. So, here we go. Anyways, thanks for being here. Grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all of you. And today we are going... Oh, here to talk about it. Moving a little bit. Anyways, today we are talking about the blessing that actually happened, right? Yesterday we talked about how this whole thing came about, how Rivka sent Yaakov, and Yaakov came, and Yitzchak said, all right, kol hakavod, you won. Look at what happened over here. Right? We think of him as like some old blind guy, but really he knew exactly what was going on. He was just trying to help his son. And so here he comes and he blesses him, right? And then Esav comes in and he says, Yaakov's like, oh, who are you? What do you mean? Your brother took the blessing already. What do you mean he took the blessing? All right, so bless me too. He took it. Well, you don't have a blessing for me. And Yaakov sends him away, or he gives him a little blessing. What does he say? He says, when you're up, he'll be down. When you're down, you'll be up. And Esav knew that he was going to be killing his father. So I mentioned no one loved their mother and father more than Esav. So seems like a pretty low bar, but he said he wouldn't kill Yaakov until after his father died. And so, what can we get from here? A lot of fun stuff to get from here, but really, one thing that stuck out to me was here when Yaakov is, after he gives his thing, his blessing, and Esav's trying to get a blessing. He says, what is this? He took it. He says, first he took away my birthright, and now he's taking away my blessing. Zepamim et becharati lekach. First he took I was the bechor. V'hinei ata lekach becherti. Now he came and took my blessing. Okay, that seems fine enough, but earlier he had said, when Yitzchak's like, hey, who are you? Vayomer Yitzchak, Aviv, mi ata? Who are you? Mi ata? Vayomer Avi, Vayomer Ani, bincha bechorcha Esav. It's me, your son, your firstborn Esav. Secondly, he just said, look, Yaakov came and he stole my blessing. He stole my birthright. And now he's saying, when he's saying, who are you? He says, I'm your firstborn. As we mentioned, Yaakov knew who he was talking to. He knew he was talking to Yaakov. Yitzchak knew he was talking to Yaakov earlier. Now he knows he's talking to Esav. So when he says, Miata, listen, you know what was going on anyways. He should be getting the blessing anyways. Miata, who are you? He says, Bincha, I'm your son. But he says, Bechorcha, I'm your firstborn. Right, and this is the whole point. Yitzchak knew, he realized, Hashem is doing this to me. He did it for me for a good reason. And then he stops and he says, Yaakov is the firstborn after all. And what does Esav come in when he come right away? He says, I'm the firstborn. Later on, then he says, oh, this Yaakov, this guy, he came, and he took these 2 times. First he took my birthright, and now he took my blessing. You see what happened over here. Something that we call cognitive dissonance, right? Where earlier he's saying, I'm your firstborn. And then over here he's saying, he took the firstborn from me. So which one is it? Is he the firstborn, or he took it from him? And we see this kind of justification, but also this inability to process reality, where he knows that Yaakov tricked him. He knew that Yaakov bested him. He knew that he wasn't the firstborn, and yet he can't get over it. He can't get over it. He can't process it. He can't move on from it, and he's stuck in this way. And in fact, as I mentioned, right, Yishmael ended up doing Shuvah. Esav did not end up doing Shuvah, unfortunately. It would be great if now Esav can do Shuvah now. Perhaps there's still a chance. I have a tradition that they won't, but it's possible they do. It would be fantastic. Why not? Because they can't come to terms with reality. Esav can't come to terms with reality. And we see that this doesn't happen to anybody. Right, when something happens, maybe as horrible as traumatic life event, and it's hard for us to fathom it, it's hard for us to move past it, and we get stuck in it, right? Or something that's maybe not as serious, but the same thing, right? It's hard for us to fathom it, we can't move past it, we can't process it, and we're stuck there. This has a lot to do with addiction recovery, right? This is why in addiction recovery, the person has to go through the 12 steps. And what is one of those steps? Writing down all your resentments. And it's something that at first you're like, I don't have any resentments. Come on. I'm happy. Everything's great. Everybody's great. I love everybody. You start getting into it, you're like, oh my gosh, and you start uncovering these things, and you realize you have a lot of things that you never processed, right? And that's what all the 12 steps really are, right? The first step, right, come to believe that our life is unmanageable, meaning like, how did I get here? Because we didn't process things. Come to believe that part of me can restore my sanity. All right, so if I got here through my best thinking, can I get myself out? Hashem, you have to surrender to Hashem. And then third, right, became willing to turn our life and our will over to a loving and caring God. And then this way we can go, right? But then we get into real things, right? We get into our resentment, we get into our history. We come to terms and we become willing to make amends with people we've hurt. And we make a list of people we've hurt, and we reach out and hurt them. Anyways, this is the act of processing. This is the act of recovery. This is the act of getting over our stuff. You see that Esav, what's the sad thing here? It was completely subconscious, so to speak. He couldn't even realize how far off from reality he'd become. He thinks he's still he thinks he's still the firstborn. He thinks he's still the Bechor. That's not reality. He's fooling himself. He's deluding himself. And he refuses to acknowledge reality. And he refuses to go through the things. You see that what happened, then he got angry to Yaakov. And he held on to that anger forever. Even later on when it says that they make up, they don't really make up. All right. He's still looking for an angle to try and bring him down. And so this is what unprocessed resentment, unacknowledged resentment can do, right? We all should really, really, really be zoicha to look at ourselves and to look at our feelings and to look at our past and our history, and the people we've hurt and also the people that we have resentment towards, and to let go of this, and not to just pretend like it didn't happen, right? Narcissists can do this, right? People can do this. Just move on. Never happened. All right, but people who want to live a fruitful life, who want to live a good life, who want to continue to improve in their life, they have to go through certain steps, whether, the 12 steps or otherwise, right, to make amends with themselves and with others. Because this whole thing is like eating poison and hoping the person dies. That's how Esav lived his life. He ate poison, was hoping that Yaakov would die. And what did it get him in the end? Didn't get anywhere closer. He had all the things in the world, Esav. Later on, right, spoiler alert, when Yaakov and Esav re-meet, Esav says, I have enough, I have plenty. And Yaakov says, I have everything. And this is the mentality that it leads to. When you have resentment, you're always looking for more. You never have enough. Nothing's ever good enough. And when you let go of that resentment and you move forward, so we see Yaakov will. There's a long time passes between these meetings. From this last time that Esau sees Yaakov into the next time. And they're two different people than they are now. Esau's worse and Yaakov's better. And so we should be zoiche to be of the latter. We should zoiche to be of the group of Yaakov, the group of Israel, the group of Bnei Israel, and to be able to please work through our things, get help, and not hold on to resentments, be able to move forward, to process. And this way we're going to see that we are setting ourselves up, we're setting our children up for the best lives that we and they and everybody can live, so that we can be people who are attracting other people to Kedusha, to good things, to Torah, to life, to happiness, simcha, gratitude, only the most amazing things. And this way we're going to see everybody one by one is going to be doing this, reaching higher and higher heights. And then this way we'll all reach the level where we'll merit in a happy way, in a peaceful way, to have Moshe Tzidkeinu here in this world, to be revealed, the Beis HaMikdash, to be rebuilt, to be revealed, and to have true Shalom here in Eretz Yisrael and throughout the world.